people have said that I'm getting better with being on a camera. I'm still pretty awkward, but yeah, this is cool. And yeah, just some people have really been encouraging and just sharing that they enjoy seeing my face. They don't really say they enjoy seeing my face, but yeah, they enjoy these film stock tryouts. And so for you guys that have shared that, I really appreciate it. It really does encourage me. Like today I didn't really want to film, and last week I didn't film because I was away for my birthday. So yeah, it was actually my birthday yesterday, but we had to celebrate early because we had work. So yeah, I'm actually filming at work now. But anyway, you saw Reflx Lab 800. They don't really say the 800, although it does have a tungsten there, so it's 800 tungsten. Very similar, I guess, to... I'm getting ahead of myself, so yeah. Thank you for joining. And yeah, thank you for the cool comments, the kindness. And firstly, let me know what you've been up to this past week. Did you watch the Oriental Seagull 400 video that I put out, the last video? Maybe check it out. Really cool black and white film stock that is made by Harman, but for the Japanese market. So yeah, anyway, so I did a few things for this video that kind of is a departure from common practice, or from my common practice, I guess. And actually, if you have a look over the whole film stock tryout series, I think every video is a little bit of a departure from common practice. I have no common practice, but yeah. So firstly, I shot a tungsten-balanced film, a fast ISO film in midday bright sunlight. And it's not balanced for daylight, it's balanced for tungsten, so LED or lights, like fluorescent lights, neon lights, that kind of thing. So it's more for late afternoon, evening, neon cityscapes, that kind of stuff. And I did so without having even developed the other roll of Reflx Lab 800 that I shot in Wuxi across a wider variety of scenes of tungsten and daylight lit scenes. So I shot a roll first here in Wuxi, and I think maybe a bit in Shanghai, like at night with the neon lights and that kind of stuff. And I still haven't developed that yet. I developed the roll that I shot in Vietnam first. So this will be part one, where I'm sharing the results of shooting in bright midday sunlight. There will be a few evening shots, but yeah, okay. So I did that probably because I'm just wanting to see, I'm experimenting, wanting to see the results, and because I'm interested in the results that I get. And I think that's, if you're creating things, if you're making stuff, that's how you find new cool things, is experimenting, making mistakes, learning, seeing how different things interact. What happens if you shoot a tungsten balanced film in the middle of the day in Vietnam on a boat with ridiculously bright sunlight? That's what we do, we experiment. So yeah, and yeah, I'm going to try and do this video in two parts, so stay subscribed for the next video that will come out hopefully next week. Yeah, I'm going to highlight the differences between this film shot in daylight, bright daylight, and shot in other settings. So here is another Kodak Vision 3 Remjet layer removed 800 ISO film review part 1. Okay, so I'm going to share my thoughts on this particular film stock sans any CineStill 800T having been shot by me. I haven't shot CineStill yet. It's not that it's difficult to come by. I think I can get it quite easily on Taobao. It's just a little bit more expensive, and yeah, it was just easier for me to get hold of this and the other no-name 800T that I've shot before. So this isn't me trying to compare it to CineStill in the quality of images and stuff, although from what I've seen and read on the internet, CineStill, or maybe let me phrase it the other way, Reflx Lab uses fresh Kodak Vision 3, so it does seem a little bit more vibrant, the colors seem more vivid. I can't speak to that really, as I haven't shot CineStill, but I can say that they do seem to be, the colors are quite nice. So yeah, I haven't shot CineStill yet. I am going to. I've got so much film stock to go through, or film stocks to go through, so I'll get there, and then I'll do a Cinestill versus all the other 800Ts, I guess. I mean, Cinestill also has a 400, so I'll do maybe try and do a whole range. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to compare it to the No Name 800T film that I reviewed a few weeks ago, and if you haven't watched that, maybe you can watch that after this. And I will compare it to any 800 speed Kodak 5219 remjet layer removed tungsten balanced film available in terms of price. So I'll compare it across the board in terms of price. And that's basically what any or most 800T films are, is Kodak Vision 3 Cine film, where the company or person has just removed the remjet layer on the film, repackaged it, and sells it. So yeah, that's kind of what this is, and let me get into it. So my four-part film stock tryouts overview. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, maybe this is a good time to show you why maybe you can or should. So what I do is this: it's a four-part film stock, like a very short, quick, basic review of the film. My thoughts of the film. It's not a technical analysis of the film, it's just like what I think and see from the results that I get. And I mean, a lot of that with film also relies on how you develop it, the quality of the developer, there's the scanning, that kind of stuff. So there are variables to add to it. So that's why I say this is not a in-depth technical analysis of the film. It's just my opinion, what I think. So anyway, I post these on my Instagram stories. I do also sometimes share them on threads. Maybe I should do that a bit more often, but I just feel like it's easier to post it on my stories, because then you can see the overviews, and then you can scroll through to see, I share then the images that I've got from it. So yeah, I post this four-part film stock tryouts overview, and on my Instagram, I'll put a thingy here, but it's at Darren A Fielding. You'll see it here, and yeah, you can also get the link in the description. So yeah, overall, what I thought about, okay, exposure latitude, Kodak Vision 3 film is an excellent film for exposure latitude. It's for films, for shooting movies, so it has to be quite wide in its exposure latitude within a particular image, but then also in its ability to be shot at a lower stop or higher, overexposed or underexposed. So Vision 3 film does generally have a very wide exposure latitude, and I said this film has about 2 stops of overexposure latitude. I think probably even a bit more, because I was shooting in super bright, harsh daylight, and it still came out quite clean. I think you can underexpose it as well, maybe about a stop, although I generally would not recommend underexposing film anytime really, but overexposing film is really good at being overexposed. You can still recover a lot of detail in the highlights. So yeah, overexposure, about 2 stops leeway that you have from what your camera thinks is perfect exposure to playing around with that, but leaning more towards overexposure. Then sharpness, I wouldn't say it's the sharpest film. Kodak Vision film is sharp, like the cine film, but I think with like what some of the places removing the remjet layer, if they're not doing a good job of it, and they're not using the correct chemicals, sometimes I think that can interfere with the color, the sharpness and the quality and the clarity. That's just my opinion and thoughts, but yeah, so it's not the sharpest film. Sometimes it is quite sharp, but yeah, I'd say I rated it about a fine tip pen, so that's like a 3 out of 5 kind of. Contrast, 30% contrast. It's not the greatest contrast. It has enough, but it's not uber contrasty. And I don't necessarily know of many color film stocks that are like ridiculously contrasty. I think color film, they try to make it where you kind of can control the contrast with how you develop it and that kind of stuff. And then grain, it's a fine grain. I mean, Kodak Vision 3 is a really fine grain, the cinema film, but once going through the remjet layer removal process, it still retains fine grains. Sometimes those grains can become a little bit bigger, but yeah, so that's kind of my 4-point overview, which took a while. So yeah, then getting into my thoughts, and yeah, my photos have been playing through. So shooting this film in daylight does produce usable images. Some of them I really enjoy. However, I feel that it is difficult to accurately color balance in post. It was really difficult for me to try and get these images to look uniform across the roll, but have a decent color balance and representation for each image. And I struggled setting that. And I think, I mean, it's not balanced for daylight, it's balanced for tungsten. And I think what you could do then is just set your white balance to a tungsten balance and then see. But the thing is, that will throw your colors out if you're shooting during the daylight. So yeah, I struggled a bit with that. And it also produces a much wider variety of differing results in a single roll. And I think that's also due to fact of harsh overexposure. The camera is struggling to read the scenarios correctly, expose correctly. So yeah, it can be used for some intriguing effects, and I think particularly if shooting with highlights overexposed to get the signature 800T halations. I think there are some shots that I got on the Harman Phoenix roll where there's a lot of halations in the skies, and I think that can be used quite well to effect if you know that, like if you're trying to overexpose the sky so that you can get that signature red halations. And I think on this I got a few shots of the sea that the sun reflecting off the sea is overexposed, so it looks red, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think used with intentionality and understanding of how the films work and react to different scenarios definitely helps. And also that's why I do these film stock trials, because I'm learning, but also to share that learning and what I've learned, and also learn from what I've learned with you guys, but also to learn from you guys. I'm still relatively new to the whole film thing, but nevertheless. So yeah, that's what I think. I think it's a cool experiment to try. This isn't really expensive, and it's quite easily available. Speaking of, I will put links. I have some affiliate links in the description for. I try to find all the film stocks that I can available on Amazon. Sometimes I can't, and then I try to find the nearest or the next best thing, and I do link them in the description so you guys can go check them out. It's no extra cost to you, but I do get a kickback. So far I've made $1. Yes! Thank you, Lonnie. And yeah, I mean, that's all just going to go back into buying more film to review and to share. And hopefully what I really want to do is get to a point where I can set up an online shop where I can sell directly for myself, like film to the rest of the world or to whoever wants, and like some really cool cameras that I found that I can find here in China, and also to try support the creative community by having competitions, giveaways, have like a challenge budget thing that I'm like, yeah, here's a challenge, I'll give you guys a budget, go out and do it. So yeah, I want to kind of grow to that with you guys. I'd like us all to grow towards that. So yeah, but anyway, your support would be appreciated in a comment, subscribing, and if you do need to buy anything through Amazon, I might have it down in the description. Okay, so yeah, CineStill from my research is about $15 a roll. Which, I mean, that's film just in general is quite pricey, while Reflx Lab is about $13. Sometimes you can get it for less, maybe $11. Sometimes I did see a few times, although that was here and me converting it was like about 10, less than 10. So yeah, there's about a $2 to $3 difference in price between rolls. It's not much to write home about, especially if you factor in Reflx Lab's $5 shipping fee, if you're buying it from them directly and shipping it outside of China, unless you buy it locally without the shipping fee from a shop in your country, or buy enough in bulk to mitigate the shipping fee. And I think that that could be a smart move, is to buy enough rolls from Reflx Lab where the $5 shipping fee now becomes not a moot point. So yeah, that flat $5 might actually turn out to be a good thing if you decide to go nuts and stock up on everything that Reflx Lab has. And they have a few decent film stocks and some others that they don't make. So yeah, a decent small range of some good quality film. So maybe check them out. I did put the link to their website down in the description. But yeah, there are a lot of photographers that are up in arms about CineStill and whatever is going on with them and their lawyers and whatever. I don't know the gist of it. I don't really follow what's going on there. So maybe you guys can explain it to me in the comments. I know something about, I think it's naming rights or something, like 800T, like no other company can use that, or I don't know. But yeah, maybe explain it to me in the comments. So yeah, I'm going to get to CineStill, but for now, those are my thoughts on Reflx Lab 800, shooting it during the day. I appreciate you guys, and thanks for growing with me. I really appreciate it if you've made it to the end of the video. I know that my talking sometimes is difficult to follow, but yeah, you guys are an inspiration, and I love seeing your images, so definitely add me on Instagram or Threads and share your stuff with me. I'd love to share more people's work on the channel, and I really need to get back to that community highlights. So yeah, just say what's up in the comments and shoot some stuff. What is the secret phrase of this week? The secret phrase is particles over pixels. That's the secret phrase. So if you comment that and I'll know you've made it to the end of the video. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so very much. Be blessed. Have an amazing week. Tell your best friend you appreciate them, and subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, just go out and make stuff. That's what it's about. Darren out. Thanks guys. Watch this or this or this or whatever comes after this in the playlist. Thank you so much. Bye.